Iron Represent Radio, you listen to Gully B here, and I told you for the last Gully B show of 2020 I was going to bring in a special guest, and that's what we've done. Dancehall royalty joining us right now via Zoom. It's one of the most iconic voices coming out of Jamaica. Agent Sasco, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, enough respect, man.
It's so good to see you, man, because, you know, it's been some time that we've been playing a lot of your music here on the Gully B show, but I've been playing your music long before that. I remember one of the first ever dancehall records, and I mean a record, vinyl record, I've got it down here somewhere, I ever played in a dance when I was about 15 or 16 years old. In 2006, Step On Them, and we had this wicked electro mix. I've been playing you since this day one in my career, man.
Man's a vinyl star. Step on them. Step on them. Man. Yeah, man. Good vibes.
That's the tune, man. Yeah. And it's quite interesting to see because we were like, seeing you as a calm, you know, very collected man yourself. It's so crazy to think that voice comes out of this man right here who's so chilled in the studio. Like, how did you kind of discover how you've got such a unique voice?
Well, you know, a doctor told me several years ago that I've earned it because what happened, I've been DJing since I was like, you know, as far as my memories go back, 3 years old, I don't know, 4. And it's been a part of my life, you know, ever since. And then my career started at like 16 and a half, I started recording. And then, you know, by 18, I was like, you know, traveling and, you know, doing shows and all kind of things. So what really happened is I've developed calluses on my vocal cords. And that's what really produces that sound. So like I said, I've earned it.
Well, man, it's definitely something that's turned a lot of people's heads because to have that kind of almost that gruffness but still smooth in tune key sound is something that no one else in the world can do, and it's turned the heads of people like Kendrick Lamar and Kanye West to have you feature on their projects too. So it's definitely a talent for you. But as you were saying, you've been in the game now for quite some time, at least 20 years really. So going back to that time, what was your musical surroundings when you first started off? What was the kind of, what were you surrounded by that kind of got you influenced into everything?
Well, so like I said, I started off before I started off professionally. So, you know, I've just loved this art form from as far as I can remember. And, you know, at that time, it was people like, you know, Professor Nuts and Lieutenant Stitcher and Papa San and those guys in the 80s. And then, you know, by the time 90s came around with, you know, people like Buju, Bounty Killer, Spragga Benz, you know, was, you know, those people at that time. And then, you know, the more I grew and the more I, you know, wanted to learn and just be a student of the music, I started to, you know, more like study the art form, you know, outside of the you know, my favorite artists. And so really and truly my inspiration is all of it, you know.
Yeah.
All of reggae and dancehall. Yeah. People like, you know, come on, endless names, Baby Wayne, Major Worries, Capleton, you know, like you name, just, you know, all of it.
Well, it's definitely something good to see because I know that you stayed true to that culture as well because, you know, you're not one of these artists that kind of has his one single a year or one album project a year. Like, you're involved in so many different things. When you're not featuring on hip-hop records, I know you're on some of the biggest rhythms still. You're also putting out your own EPs. And I love the fact that you even mentioned Spragga Benz there because we've had him on the Gully B show twice. And I remember one key information he always... Yeah, Spragga's the man, man. And he was telling us... He was saying that his way of staying consistent was, he said, I will be bored of me before you are bored of me. And that was his way of always saying how he reinvents himself and makes sure he stays like current with the sound of dancehall. And I find, was that something that you kind of adapted when you done the transition from Assassin to Agent Sasco?
Well, you know what? I think that transition is more about me keeping it real with myself first. And then, you know, just, you know, having my music represent who I am at whatever point. So that's what that's about. And I mean, yeah, I'll have to agree with Spragga on that, is that I'm you know, I'm concerned with making sure that I'm representing myself authentically at all times. You know, that's all, you know, it's just, that's it. So anything else will have to be second to that representation. Yeah.
Well, I love that you've even got the song called Represent on the new EP, which is Sasco VS Assassin. And we've actually, I don't know if you know this yet, we've actually had it playlisted here on Represent Radio, so that is on the daytime playlist now.
Oh, wicked. Represent, man. Represent it.
Definitely, man. We got to do a bit. And that's just an absolute iconic track with Chronics as well, man. So, so when you first started doing the project, Sasco VS Assassin, like, what was the driving force behind this project coming together? Because, of course, you've been known as Agent Sasco primarily, at least for the last few years. That is, like, the artist that you've been going out as. So what made you kind of want to dip back and have that, not really competitive...
Well, I mean, so I get people, reach out to me all the time and say, boy, they would, especially when I was doing that rhythm series, and for example, people would be like, yo, would like to get some of that Assassin vibe, blah blah blah, and I'm like, but guys, Assassin was that was my 17-year-old self. I'm twice that age now, I'm more than twice that, and so it's just a part of my development and whatever. Anyhow, so I was like, you know what, let me try and see if there's a way to bring Assassin back in a way that is still in alignment with where I am now development wise and values and everything. So that was the initial thought, and then in doing the project, it forced me to even try and define them, the two characters. So I guess it was my attempt to give the Assassin fans some kind of representation of Assassin, I guess.
Yeah, man. And it reminds me of like, I'm a big hip-hop fan myself, and MF Doom is a favorite hip-hop artist of mine, and he's got his characters MF Doom, and he's also got Victor Vaughn, which is his younger self, and he takes on a new persona when he raps on different songs, and I feel as if this is kind of similar to that. So for you, when you're doing this project, does it feel different to go and do something as Assassin or Sasco? Do you feel there's a difference in the performance?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because of the time factor. It's not just the texture or the sound, it's actually, the mindset. Assassin is younger and, with less experience and a different perspective. Sasco has a family, for example, where Assassin is a teenager straight out of high school, so it's very interesting to like be putting a song together and recognize that, wait a minute, that's more of a Assassin line than a Sasco line, you know what I mean? And knowing, where to draw the line and, where to, how they interact and all of that. It's interesting. I'm still, trying to figure it out, but it's interesting. It's fun.
Definitely, man. And you can hear like kind of the transition too as well, because I know one thing that definitely separates you apart from almost every dancehall artist. I wouldn't even want to pigeonhole you as just a dancehall artist either, because lyrically, I think you're one of the most talented guys in the game right now. How important has it always been to kind of follow that sort of conscious lyric style? Because I know that's one thing that's kind of drawn you into the world of hip hop a lot of the time as well. So how does it feel to be kind of recognized as one of these like lyrical champions of dancehall and reggae music?
Of course, recognition is always good. But a part of what I've grown to even adopt as a way of thinking is to really try as best as I humanly can to disconnect from those kinds of outcomes or end results or feedback or whatever, like to really be 100% devoted to the creative process is to not care about those things. In terms of, I'm doing it because I love it, and I'm doing it based on just the respect that I have for the art form and things like that. Because I like people will tell me that, for example, they want more hardcore lyrics, and boy, it would, I need to show these young guys how it's done, and that sort of thing. So if I was to care about that, then you might find that I would be doing material that's more frivolous or whatever. But it's just it's just not in alignment with where I am in my development. So that's it. I'm just keeping it real, man. That's what matters to me.
Definitely, man. And I'm going to talk about some of the actual tracks one by one in a moment as well, because each one deserves its own spotlight. But one thing I really love is like the quality of the entire EP. Now, you know, we're in a human world. There's no such thing as perfect, but for me, this is the closest thing to perfection in a reggae dancehall EP. You kind of ticked every box in what a fan would want, with collaborations, with the studio production quality. So talking about the producers of that one, you've got people like Teflon, Zinc Fence on there, Toddler T, The Fanatics, Trop Killers. Were these producers that you'd set out from the start of this project, like, I want to do something with them, or was it just opportunity based?
Not necessarily, but the first thing that we decided, you know, what I was leaning towards was the sound that I wanted. I knew that I wanted some, you know, genre blending sounds, and so like Fanatics, I definitely admired their work, and so I was like looking in that direction for real. But I must say, you know, big up Pierre and the team. You know, Pierre would just send me beats, and I'd be like, yo, this wicked, let's go, you know. So it was less about exactly who was sending the beat, but more about the texture and the feel of it. You know, of course, I reached out to Teflon personally because, you know, just because of the work that he's doing, and, you know, I know that you know, it would be a good vibe. And then, of course, when he played me some beats and I heard that local, I was like, you know, and then like Riff Raff is another bridging of mine. So I called him in. I'm like, you know, I need a vibe like this, and we you know, we built that record right here from scratch. And then, you know, of course, Toddler T, once again, Pierre sent me that beat, and I was just like, yo, this is wicked. So
definitely, and I love like even course, that brass section. And then of course we added, so you know, when I you know, added all of those things here in Kingston, that was, you know, just to give some different flavor. And then of course the song that really directed the feel of this project is the Dumitting, the Trop Killers. Like when I heard that, I was like, yo, I would like for the project to really feel comfortable around this record. Definitely, and it's kind of got that worldwide sound as well. It's not just a case of that's a Jamaican artist. It's got that accompanying international feel to it, and I suppose it is an international project when you've got Fanatics and Toddler T are based in the UK, Teflon's in Jamaica, then you've got Trop Killers in Brazil. Like, it kind of all comes together really well.
Yeah, man, it's real global music for sure.
So the title song is Sasco VS Assassin, which was done by Toddler T. That is, for me, like, how many people have been hitting you up for dub plates on that one? Because the lyrics in that one, I've been hearing it. I'm like, I can hear that in a clash. Like, I know there's going to be enough amount of sounds from Germany or Japan that are going to be cutting mad amounts of that.
Yeah. No, it's been crazy. And I mean, today is actually the release of the video, and the response has been incredible. So yeah, man, I'm happy about that.
Definitely, man. Like, the whole thing has been incredible. And I want to kind of look at the track Loco that Teflon produced as well, because that was a single earlier on this year. So when that dropped as the single, was this project already in the works? Did you know this was going to become an EP, and the remix did you know that you were going to have the Bounty Key on Kabaka Pyramid remix of Loco as well?
No. So when we released the record, I think we were just so in love with the rhythm and wanted to do more with it, and so that's why we had the remix. And then after the remix, that's why we also now have, you know, the rhythm juggling. I just feel like it almost felt like a real disservice to the genre to not have more songs on that rhythm, you know, coming from juggling culture and things like that. So we just loved the beat and wanted to do more with it, and the remix was the next installment in that, and then, you know, we decided to even go further than that.
I love that you guys did, because honestly the Loco rhythm itself is incredible. You got artists like Chronix is on there as well, Mr. Williams, and I actually play a special Gully B version where I use the Buju Banton Blessed a cappella. It's in the same key and tempo, and I'll run that over the rhythm as well. So for a juggling perspective, man, like, yeah, there's a lot to work with on that rhythm, and I love it. So talking about Chronix from that rhythm as well, you got Chronix on the track with you as well on Represent. Now that is the tune that you took them back to behind the curtain vibes, man. Like, how did you draw out Chronix in such a dancehall fashion on that one?
Yeah, I would take credit for that. I think that's just the rhythm and the energy, and, you know, it brought him there. So yeah, that's Fanatics. I mean, that record was inspired by the Notting Hill Carnival. Actually, I went to the studio directly from the carnival, so that's where that energy came from. Yeah, it's one of my faves.
So was that last year's carnival, 2019?
Yep.
Wow, right, yeah, so God, it's mad because we were on the truck, so we ended up missing all the shows now. We were going around the whole, on the parade and everything like that with all the guys in the soca floats.
Yeah, yeah. So I left. Let me tell you, that was a tough day. But anyhow, we left the parade and went straight to the studio, and I did several demos, and that was one of them.
Wicked, man, because the entire project has just come together so well. Like for me, we played I think almost every single song on the last show, and normally with the amount of music we get sent every week here on the Gully B show, I maybe play one song from each project we get. But man, we drove for 4 of them, I think, out of the whole project. We had to just go for the whole lot again because it's absolutely incredible, man. So I kind of want to talk about like how you've kind of joined these collaborations up on this one, because collaborating is something that you've always done well. If you think about it, I can't find anyone you probably haven't collaborated on like the top musical levels. So you know, you've worked so closely with the hip-hop scene. Do you feel like a pressure to be almost like a representative of reggae and dancehall when you work on these massive projects with, you know, Royce da 5'9", Kanye, Kendrick, Madlib, guys like that? Like, do you feel like, you know, do you feel as if you've been pigeonholed as the reggae artist, or do you feel as if like this is something that I was meant to do?
Nah, I mean, yeah, like I said, for me, it's you know, it's the music first, and so, you know, whatever project comes my way and be like, yo, we'd like, you know, something on this or whatever, I'm just led by the music. So immediately I'm thinking, all right, you know, what would fit with this, or you know, depending on the market, you know, what would I want my representation of my art form to be. So it's more like, how best to put together whatever the project is based on the different variables, you know. So like you know, for like the Black of the Berry, I saw them treat you like a slave cause we black. Oh, we feel only for pain cause we black. Like, you know, I figured I wanted it to feel like real patois, but I wanted it to still be palatable to an audience that might be, you know, too familiar with the dialect. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, finding a middle ground there somewhere, you know, things like that. You know, that's how I think about it. But, you know, like, you know, I don't think about the, you know, the level of the artist or none of those things. And I really, like I said earlier, I try to disconnect from those things. Oh, you know, this is a Kendrick song. Oh, I need to, no, you know, I still have to do what I do, you know, that's just that. So that's how I really look at it. And that way, like I say, it frees up the process, and, you know, you're not overthinking things, or, you know what I mean?
Definitely, man. I can understand that as well, because I feel who Kendrick Lamar is to America, I really see that you're like that equivalent in Jamaica as well. Like, I feel people know you as like one of the lyrical talents that represents the flies the flag for Jamaica, and people are like, that is real quality music coming out of Jamaica. And I think like that's something that I've always been a massive fan of.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so we just have to represent the thing, you know.
Definitely,
and
man.
Keep it real, that's it.
So with, you know, you've got your ear to production and lyrical talent. You've always been the guy that knows that, you know, high quality production, you know how to write incredible songs. Who's the new blood that's turning your head at the moment? Who's the young artist that you're going, wow, they've got a future? Because I remember on your last album, you had that clip from Buju Banton's interview, and he was talking about you in the same way. So who do you see as the next ones coming?
Man, there are so many. So, you know, of course, Protege and his camp there, what they're doing with like, you know, Leela and Savannah, you know, that's good stuff. Not Nice had a song on his last King Midas album with a young lady by the name of Nardia, a song named Sorry, incredible tune. Then you have people like Mortimer, you know, love them, you know, just wicked singer, you know what I mean? And then the younger generation now of DJs, you like Iwater is from the same community that I grew up in, and, you know, I think he has great potential. Who else again? Yeah, I mean, so you have to forgive me also, like I'm not in the space of listening to everyone really, so. That's a big list
already though, man. That's a big list already, and I'm glad that you said Iwata as well, because we played one of his collaborations on the last show with Jazeel Myrie, who's Buju Banton's son. So they've just done a track together as well, and we played that on the last show.
And yeah, Jazeel. Oh, by the way, that tune him up with Spragga, as a matter of fact, I was caught between that being one of my on the list. Who's that knocking at my door with Jazeel? Yeah. Also another young man doing him thing. I mean, it's so many, you know.
Definitely, man. So speaking of which, man, you know how we do things here on the Gully B show. We always ask the guests to talk about their top 5 songs that are uplifting the people. We've all been in this weird 2020 year, so we want to make sure everyone's in a happy vibe. So I want to find out what's the Agent Sasco top 5. What do you want to go for as your top pick, well, your first pick out today?
I'm going to go with, since we spoke about, you know, the hip hop collabs and stuff like that, I'm going to go with one of the hip hop songs that I like at the moment, and it's Tricked by Royce the 5'9", off his Allegory album.
Now, you've actually worked with Royce the 5'9" in the past, haven't you, Sasco?
Yeah. I did some work with him on his last album and a mixtape prior to that.
Wow, man. So how was it kind of working? So was that based in Jamaica, or did you go to the US to work with them there?
No, they sent me some stuff. I did it right here in my studio, and then I met him in New York for a music video where we shot the video for the Summer Unlock or something like that.
It's an incredible tune as well that you just drew for there with Tricked as well, because I was listening to the lyrics and I love like how he draws out the music industry, talking about, you know, like the publishing side of things and all that kind of things in the lyrics, man. Like he's smart with it. Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's not just frivolous material, it's really saying something. So, you know, that's always you know, more higher on my list in terms of when there's actual content that you can learn something from, or, you know, some thought-provoking thing, you know.
Definitely, man. All right, and so what do you want to go for as your second pick at the top 5 today?
All right, second pick. We're going to keep it international, I guess. Let's go with Wiz and Burna, Ginger.
So what made you draw for that song? Like, how do you remember the first memory of hearing it this year?
You know what? Just getting that the Wizkid project and looking through the moment that I saw Wiz and Burna, I was like, are you kidding me? So, you know, it's like talking about powerhouse collab, man. It don't get much more powerful than that. So, you know, the two are two of the premier Afrobeat artists at the moment. I think it's just, you know, it's just great what it means when we collab like that, you know. Two guys at the top doing it. So, you know, it's more from that aspect, honestly. And then, of course, the tune nice. So, run it.
It's almost a better collab than Sasco and Assassin. Almost. But we're getting there, man. So what did you go for as the third pick today?
All right, so we're going with another collab for the third pick, and it's Streets by Spragga and Cranium. I chose this song because, you know, the first time listening to Spragga's album, I like finding songs. You know, I like hearing a song for the first time and loving it, you know, just because I discovered it. So this was one of those songs. I was actually on my morning run and it came on, and, you know, I was very happy, pleasantly surprised by just how good it was. So Streets. And it's real too, real.
Incredible selection. I know there's a whole heap of tunes on that album that you'd have wanted to go for, but, you know, that's a wicked tune right there and an incredible collaboration between the two artists. So how do you want to go for as your fourth pick on this one? What do you want to draw for here?
All right, the fourth pick, I'm going to go with Television is the Worst. That's why we're up on the radio.
That's the one right there. Here we go. Chronics with Television is the Worst.
Yeah, man.
So how did the Chronics collaboration come with on that rhythm? Were you kind of involved with his involvement on that?
Well, absolutely. So the first thing is, you know, having a chat with Pierre and Teflon and be like, yo, man, we need some more tracks on this beat. And of course, Chronics would be immediately one of the names that would come up, of course, based on even just the unit. It's Teflon, you know what I mean? It's, you know, so yeah, and then he actually sent 2 demos and was like, yo, you know, which one of them I'm feeling? I'm like, yo, right now,
both.
You know, yeah. Yo, I mean, the two, matter of fact, the two tune them, you know, so brutal, like, yo, it's just incredible, man. So, you know.
I remember when I saw him recording that, he was on, I think he was on maybe like IGTV or something at the time, like, but obviously we would be playing Loco. the remix had just come out, I think, around that time. So we were already playing the remix here on the Gully B show. And then I see Chronix put up an Instagram video or like a story post, and he's playing the local rhythm. I can see them setting up Logic with the sound card and the mic. Instantly, I'm on WhatsApp to Teflon. I'm like, yo, what's this Chronix tune happening on the loco rhythm? I hear it. And he's like, where are you seeing this? This should not be going out anywhere yet. So it's like a secret track of that one. But yo, the work that came through with it on Television's the Worst and Brutal, absolutely incredible tunes in that one. And I'm glad that you picked that as your fourth pick.
Wicked.
So what do you want to go for as the fifth pick on your top 5 today?
So the fifth and final pick is actually a song by Bounty Killer. I'm featured on the song. My little girl is on there, my brother Chevron is on the song, and it's Freedom. You know, for the way that 2020 has gone, we have seen like so many different issues and, you know, just all kinds of incredible events. But one of the things that I feel like definitely shouldn't be a part of the conversation in 2020 is, you know, the issue around race and, you know, just, you know, certain kinds of, you know, discrimination and things going on. So, you know, Freedom, I think this one, you know, for that reason and what it stands for. So Freedom by Bounty Killer.
Yo, Sasco, like, I'm so glad that you drew for that tune. As you were saying, like, if there's one song that people need to be listening to in 2020 to remember what we're going to go into in 2021 and make sure the world's a better place, that's the song they need.
Yeah, man, for sure. You know, a lot of people have been looking for 2020 to be over and looking forward to 2021, thinking it must be a better year. And I would just like to invite people to consider that it's the year that we all make it. So, you know, we have a part to play in you know, how good or great the year will be, or not so. Well, hopefully not.
Definitely, man. We've got our own responsibility to make 2021 the year we need it to be. So I know that you haven't been stopping as well, Sasco, throughout all this time as well. I just read recently that you've also we know that you're incredible in the music space, but outside of that, I know you're working with Digicel at the moment, right? How's this collaboration come? Because I know this is a very important project.
Yeah. So I've been doing some work with a program called We Transform. It's an initiative with the Ministry of National Security in some of the juvenile detention centers, in particular one in Denham Town, Metcalf Street. And, you know, in trying to do different things over the years and to see where we can have impact and, you know, have the young men kind of, you know, change them direction and thing. One of the things that were always, you know, every time I walk through the facility, you know, this person wants to be a DJ and that person wants to be a DJ and this one is a singer and that kind of thing. And, you know, in talking to the superintendent and a couple of the folks in the program, you know, we decided that it would be maybe sensible to get a studio done there. So I had the idea for a while, and then I was doing some work with Digicel Foundation on another project. And, you know, Corona came and blah, blah, blah. So I told them that, you know what, I have this other thing that I'm, you know, very passionate about, and I would like to get a studio built at this facility. And they were more than happy to, you know, provide some of the funding, well, most of the funding for it. And so, yeah, we've been working at that.
That's important, man, and I'm so glad to hear that. It's so good to see that, you know, even outside of music, you're still pushing an inspiring message to the youths as well. And, you know, we had Black Hero and Wayne J on the show not so long ago, and Wayne J is still quite a young guy, and he was saying how he just wants to make sure that every bit of his career inspires the next younger generation to know there's a different...
That is our next youth to a bad like what? Wayne J from him do the chicken gun at you and thing, but no, you know, he's certainly grown up, and yeah, he's one of the guys that I definitely rooting for. So yeah, man, absolutely. You know, at this stage of my life and development, it's very much about you know, what I'm contributing, and you know, hopefully I'm, you know, with my work and things that I'm doing, you know, I'm helping things to move forward in a positive way.
Definitely, man. It's an inspiring message that I think everyone should take hold of, because, you know, today's the last Gully B show of 2020 on Represent Radio. So if there's any New Year's resolutions, anyone listening, take it from Sasco. Do something inspiring to bring a new contribution to the world next year.
Amen, man. So, and once again, of course, you know, thank you for representing for the culture, Zine. And thank you for having me today. And, you know, definitely we're looking forward to a great 2021 and just more music, more vibes. But, you know, hopefully next year we can actually be in concerts again and you know, I mean, like, you know, vibing together with the music. So until such time, you know, respect.
Absolutely. Big up Agent Sasco. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Gully B Show. I'm going to play the new song that you've just dropped on the new Swiss Cheese rhythm, because your new music has not stopped, man. Like, you know, the EP, we're playing it heavily, but you're still jumping on the big rhythms, like with the Dirty Rock camp, right?
Yo, so that's Dirty Rock right there. So Swiss Cheese rhythm song called Swiss Cheese and Cheddar. And earlier on when I told you I had to see my brethren out, that was actually Steven the Genius.
Oh.
And we just recorded something that may be out very soon. So listen out.
Wow, guys, you heard it here first. We'll be looking forward for that.
I'll make sure you get it ASAP.
Big up, Sasco. You know, guys, you're going to be hearing that one. If we don't catch it by the end of the year, you're going to hear it at the start of next one, because, you know, he's just said it right now. Steven Gigini is working with Agent Sasco. You know, things are going to be going mad with that. Yeah, Sasco, thank you so much for joining us on the Gully B Show and rounding up 2020 for us. I'm going to jump into Swiss Cheese and Cheddar right now for the people so they get to know the rhythm style that we can juggle with.
Mad thing. Yo, love and respect. Big up.